In this video, I'll be walking you through how I use polypropylene sheeting to protect the dust jackets of my hardcover books. So you'll need a large ruler, some polypropylene sheeting, and a Stanley knife to pull all this together. No adhesive, no tapes. So the first thing to do is remove the dust jacket from the book and try and lay it out flat and work out the creases a little bit. So then to get the measurements right, I use this cutting board to kind of get an idea of how wide I need to cut the sheet. And then roll out the plastic to the right length and cut it vertically with the ruler and Stanley knife. Once it's cut, you lay the dust jacket on top of the plastic sheeting and get an idea of roughly where you want to fold the plastics down on top of the dust jacket. It's not an exact size here, I just kind of make sure that there's enough overhang, roughly about even, on the top and the bottom. So I use the ruler to help me create an initial crease in the polypropylene cover. Work my way along to try and keep it straight. And then start to work the crease in a bit more firmly, being careful to try and keep it as straight as possible. And once I'm happy, I will take a straight edge, sometimes you can use a bone knife, and just put a hard crease along that seam, and that will keep it in place. So once that's done, you reinsert the dust jacket, colour side down, press it right up against the top of the crease, which is why it's important to try and work out some of those folds in the dust jacket to stop it moving around as much. It's a bit fiddly, but what I find is if you weight the top down with either the ruler or the book itself, it flattens it out enough to give you a shot at the bottom half. So the next step is to fold up the bottom half of the cover just slightly underneath where the dust jacket ends. You don't want to do it too close because you can end up folding and creasing the dust jacket itself. But if you do it too far away, you end up with a loose fitting jacket. So it's a bit of a trial and error approach. But same as before, you kind of work it along with your fingers to put a loose crease in. So if it's not quite right, you can move it around and adjust it before you use the straight edge to put a hard crease along it. Once you're happy, just get the straight edge and work it in. So that's pretty much it. The dust jacket's now on. You line the spine of the book back up with the creases in the dust jacket and fold it over. trying to keep a bit of pressure to keep everything in place. The polypropylene cover won't have creases in it, so it'll be a bit stiff when trying to put it back on. But what you do is you just kind of use the creases of the dust jacket to get everything lined up, and then once it's done you kind of try to press out the air and use your fingers to try and work in some light creases where the book folds over the edge and along the spine as well. So particularly these sections, it's helpful to work in the creases. And that's it. So I'll show you another one. I'll speed this up a fair bit, but it's the same approach. I'll show you some slightly different angles as well to give you a different view of what I'm doing. With most things, these get easier with practice. The more you do, the more it starts to become a bit smoother. So as before, line up the dust jacket, put it about the middle of the sheeting, and start to fold over the edges. Fold up the bottom one, remembering to not crease the dust jacket itself before you put a hard crease on it. And with the plastic covering, it takes a bit for it to start to settle in to the the dust jacket. So it takes a bit to settle in with the dust jacket. There's a bit of air trapped in it. You'll find that if you stack up your books on top of each other and leave it overnight, it'll start to work its way out and fit a lot better the next day. So I'll leave these overnight. And when you come back to them the next day, you can see that the creases have held. And it's nice and protected, no adhesives, so there'll be no long-term damage. Hope this helps.